Jason Robo, ladies, gentlemen, traders.
Regular public commenter Jason Robo was on a venomous rant at the San Diego County Board of Supervisors meeting in November 2021. To then Supervisor Nathan Fletcher, he said,
And Nathan, you should kill yourself. I don't know where you are, but a dishonorable discharge would be you blowing your brains out.
To Supervisor Tara Lawson-Remer, he said,
And Lemur, as I like to call you, Lawson-Remer, you're a little monkey. I'd like to see you hang from a tree.
And to then County Public Health Officer Dr. Wilma Wooten, he said this.
And then Wooten, you're Aunt Jemima.
While the comments may have felt threatening, supervisors had few remedies to stop them.
For a threat to be unprotected by the First Amendment, it has to be that it is reckless in causing a person to reasonably fear for his or her physical safety.
Constitutional scholar Erwin Chemerinsky says Robo's comments are certainly offensive.
But under the First Amendment, speech can't be stopped or punished just because it's offensive. Profanities are protected.
Vargas, I can't wait for your arteries to clog. They're not doing it fast enough.
UCSD political science professor Thad Kauser says this reality leaves lawmakers in a tricky spot.
How do you get the quieter voices or the voices who can't be there to have a government serve their interests and make sure that it makes decisions without everything being drowned out by one voice?
Supervisors tried after Robo called Dr. Wooten Aunt Jemima. They cut the time people could comment if there are 10 or more speakers. And if those sessions turn disorderly, Chairman Nora Vargas pauses the meeting and the unruly person is removed. Supervisor and Vice Chairwoman Tara Lawson-Remer is unimpressed.
If I was running these meetings, this would be very different.
She says she'd further reduce the time someone can speak and issue only one warning to disruptive speakers before ejecting and barring them from addressing the board in person again.
You can still have your voice heard, but you can call in and participate remotely.
But that would be a problem, says David Loy of the California First Amendment Coalition. A person can be kicked out for being out of control, but cannot be barred from all future meetings based on that prior disruption. But he suggests supervisors use their bully pulpit and say,
we do not like this speech. We do not think it's acceptable. We have to allow people to say what they have to say because that is their First Amendment right. But we do not agree with it. We do not condone it. We do not want this to impact other people's right to be heard.
Keith Allred of the National Institute for Civil Discourse says reminding the public at meetings that the rowdy people do not represent the majority of San Diegans might help too.
If I were a supervisor, I would keep putting that in context. I am so grateful that so few of the 3 million people who live in San Diego conduct themselves that way.
The rest of the onus in restoring civility at local government meetings may lie with many of those 3 million San Diegans.
We've got to show up ourselves and we've got to say, you know what, I care if the JV football team has pads. I care if our kids' history books stop at Chernobyl. I want you to get back to governing.
John Porton is a research manager specializing in peace building and resilience at USD's Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice.
That is getting to the core of using speech to reorient ourselves to what we think is important and acceptable for our communities to move forward.
And when policy disagreements occur, both elected officials and the public could borrow from community organizers. University of Connecticut sociology professor Ruth Braunstein says they see no friends, no enemies when working to solve problems.
Because you might have to work with that person next week on a problem, and you're going to be much less likely to call them a murderer if you think you might have to work with them on another issue.
San Diego Mesa College political science professor Carl Luna says doing nothing is not an option. Democracy is like a relationship. It demands conversation and compromise to tackle basic problems and move forward. Without it, institutions look worse.
And those who want to just burn it all down get a better opportunity to do so.
Which he says is a death knell for democracy.
Your time has expired. Sit down.
Amita Sharma, KPBS News.